I'll just be like nodding, like, great point.
Yeah, exactly as she said.
Yeah. So I went to PT school at NAU in Phoenix with Stephanie. Yep. We were in the same class, competing and having a good time, yeah. But I've been a therapist for over 5.5 years now, and with the company for a little bit longer than that, although there was a break in there for PT school.
So I also went to NAU Phoenix, graduated in December of 2018 with Eric, so I've been a therapist 5.5 years. I've been around Spooner since 2016. I was a tech and then a student out in Avondale.
So I've been with Spooner for 15 years. I went to physical therapy school at Des Moines University in Iowa and then ran away from the snow and been in 4 different Spooner clinics over the 15 years. I started at Scottsdale for 5 years, Biltmore for 2 years, Desert Ridge for 3 years, Old Town now for 4 years, going on 5. In my beginning, first 5 years kind of here at Scottsdale is just really learning what it was to be a PT for the first couple of years and then finding what really drives me professionally. So taking some kind of courses from doing my OCS at about year 3 and then going through the fellowship with the Gray Institute for, and then having Tim as a mentor. That was like really huge, helping me feel like I was progressing as a professional. Then when I had my last review, it's like, I think that's where I want to go. You know, I thought about, do I get more certifications? Do I do more CMT? And I was like, no, I want to give back and start teaching the young. You don't realize what you do know until, like, I just talked to one of my former techs that's now a therapist in Florida in the cash pay business, and we had like a 45-minute conversation, and it was like, man, I do know a lot.
Kind of like Ryne said a little bit, I don't necessarily feel like I have a true mentor in this moment, but I've done a lot of the mentoring for our new therapists and other students that we've had in our clinic that are now working for Spooner and other clinics too. And so I've kind of popped out and visited them and stuff too, which I like a lot. Because they always ask different questions. Every student, every new therapist asks something different that you're like, oh, hadn't thought about that.
My story wasn't that straightforward. So I was a tech down at East Chandler. Wasn't my best experience. Decided to take a student rotation out in Avondale. I had Brad Day and then Emily Baker at the time was the director out there. Had an absolutely phenomenal 10 weeks, but it was very orthopedic based. And at the time I was dead set on being a full-time peds therapist. Well, during the same time, NAU Phoenix doesn't have their own graduation ceremony. You're expected to go up to Flagstaff. So we planned it. We raised money for it, and I had reached out to Larissa, who had hired me way back when, and said, hey, is this something Tim would maybe talk about? She goes, absolutely. So Tim and I sat down to have a meeting about sponsorship for graduation, which he so graciously did. And at the end of our meeting, he goes, hey, but I haven't seen your resume come across my desk. I was like, oh, that's because I won't work for your company. He was like, wait, what? And I was like, no, like, this is what I want to do. I want to see peds. I want to have a little bit of neuro. I want to do vestib, and I can't do that here. And he just looked at me and goes, try me. I was like, Tim, I've been at 2 clinics now. Like, I've gone around to see other ones. No, like, it's not going to work. This is not what I want to do. And he goes, go talk to Scottsdale. Like, just give it a shot. And 5.5 years later, I haven't left. So definitely have, and Tim held up to those promises, but we know that Tim's going to bet on us as individuals. Spooner cares about us as people more than just a number in a machine.
But it does feel like it doesn't matter who's coming through the door, that the culture's the same and the company growth is the same, and their ability to be flexible and grow and change things is also exciting. And there's a lot of avenues for you to do different things, whether it's LMI, sports med, stuff like that. Like, there's always avenues for growth. At one point I thought I wanted to get more into the administration side. I feel pretty confident that that is not what I want to do now. But I like, if you want to teach or if you want to be a mentor, you can do that. If you want to develop a specialty niche, you can do that. So it's like, you can kind of make of it whatever you want.
It's the best way to go about it.
At our orientation, I told Tim that in year 1, I wanted to figure out what I didn't know, and he laughed at me. Because like, oh, if you do that in 1 year, let me know.
Yeah, Tim said, yeah, I've been 30-some years, and I'm still working. Yeah. The biggest thing is we have the onboarding program. We have the mentorship. You need to drive it yourself. I'd say seek out mentorship every time you can. Don't stop asking questions.
People want to give that. I'm not bothering them. I'm not taking time out of their day. They're so excited to help because it's stimulating to be the person to help as well. And
You've heard that from both of you.
Yeah. Being the ones to give is just as exciting as it is to receive that assistance. And so being really, really proactive in seeking out the help that I need.
I agree. You have to drive it yourself. I tell all my students, I go, if you want to learn something, you got to ask. I go, I can't help you or I can't do it if you don't ask. And same thing when it comes to the mentor. So if I need something, I go seek it out.
See, it wasn't even hard, was it?
No, it was good.
You talked a lot. What are you talking about?
I know.
I got my words in, see?
You did. You got your words in.